Hi everyone, it's me, your favorite gal pal, Scarlett Cyanide, and it's time for another Scarlett Cyanide's Sit and Sip. Today, as always, I am joined by my lovely co-host,
Jordan. I'm also here.
Yes, and today we are going to be reviewing RuPaul's Drag Race Season 17, Episode 11, Ross Matthews versus the Ducks.
Versus the Ducks.
Yes. Before we get into all of that, Jordan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful, thank you.
I see we're both going no glasses today, but you know.
Okay, but true. I just forgot. I forgot to put the glasses on.
Oh, okay. Either way. Well, me too then.
Okay, great.
I guess we both forgot.
Yes, we just both forget. It's fine. Well, something that we don't want to forget, Jordan, is to remind these folks to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And as always, if you want to watch live watch-alongs of all these episodes with us every week, you can do that by becoming a Seated and Sipping member. You can find all that information down below. You get special perks to live watch-alongs, early access to all of our videos, and starting this week, we're going to be producing some members-only videos as well.
Yeah.
Now, as always, the very best way for you to support the channel is by liking the video and subscribing. I have to ask, before we get into it, Jordan, what's she sipping on today?
Coffee. It's yet again. It's kind of early. Need coffee.
I know, it's bright and early in the morning. The sun's coming up. And, yeah, we have some caffeinated beverages today.
Yep.
All right. It's that time. Everybody grab a seat and take a sip. Let's get into RuPaul's Drag Race Season 17, Episode 11, Ross Matthews versus the Ducks.
Versus the Ducks.
Yes. You know, this episode actually, they keep it pumping.
This was a really packed episode. There was always something going on. I liked that.
There really was. I was very into it because, you know, last week was fun with I almost said the haters roast, with the villains roast.
Yeah. Close.
But it was very drama packed. There was a lot of behind the scenes drama. There was a lot of drama during the roast in general. And I liked this episode because it was kind of like, all right, let's get back to just what we need to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
In this season. So we had girls, of course, focusing on winning. So I really enjoyed this episode, and I really like this acting challenge.
I thought it was great. I'm glad because going into it, I was a little concerned. I was like, okay, clearly Ross had a pretty great idea with this, a very idea that he felt very strongly about. You could tell the moment you saw him in Truman Capote drag that it was like, oh yeah, Ross was like all about this.
Yeah, Ross was very much feeling the oats.
This was definite. If this wasn't his idea, this was an idea he flipped out about as soon as they brought it up. But also Truman Capote and the Swans, that's a pretty not dated, but old reference.
I mean, it is dated. It's deep cut and dated. Yeah.
I guess it is.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they, instead of trying to get the girls to be the Swans, the Ducks were like 2025 versions.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good choice because I was like, I think everybody's going to be confused except for a few historians.
Right. I know. I was glad that they explained a little bit of the background. So Truman Capote, very famous, long time ago, LGBT member, writer, and actor.
Yeah.
Acted in stuff, too.
He acted in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. And famously had a group of friends, of socialites, and then spilled all their tea and kind of betrayed everybody.
Yeah. Long before there was social media.
Long before there was a social media,
Which is what felt extra brilliant about this.
Yeah, Truman Capote was like the OG social media girl, I guess, in a way.
Yeah.
All right. Now, before we get into the challenge, picking roles, and everything like that, let's talk about really quick, though, this mirror message.
Yeah.
Now, originally, we were trying to kind of give, honestly, Arrietty the benefit of the doubt. It was a roast. The villain vortex was going on.
Yeah.
And originally, when we watched Untucked, it felt like the girls had made up for the most part. But when they get back into the workroom, Arrietty has left a very mean and insensitive message to Onya telling her to brush her teeth.
To Onya, even though you'd expect it to be to Jules, who she just lost to.
Right. But, you know, Arrietty unfortunately found, like they said, like some low-hanging fruit, just like an easy way to like...
easy dig.
Yeah, just an easy way to say like the worst thing to somebody. And she decided to try to hit Onya in a place where she's legitimately very sensitive about. And she had confided in the girls, like, hey, I'm sensitive about this. So, like, this is something I'm trying to actively figure out medically.
Of course.
Yeah. So it was...
And that was,
It was a very sad way to start out the episode. Disappointing.
It was weird, too, because, like, Anya's always, like, supporting everybody. Now, yes, last week's Untucked, we did have Onya clap back at Arrietty when Arrietty was trying to push her out of the conversation that she didn't need to be pushed out of, but this was just uncalled for.
Yeah. So, not a good look for Arrietty at all. And I hope now, current day, that Arrietty's apologized to Onya. I don't know if they've had any sort of like reconciliation after this in real life.
Hopefully.
Yeah, but
because like Onya at least was mature enough to get over it. And like just be like, okay, it's in the past. I'm not mad about it. I've forgiven her. She said, I've forgiven her.
Yeah, and I think you brought up the perfect word, which is maturity.
This is mature.
Definitely definitely showing the maturity difference between Onya and Arrietty.
I do really just think Arrietty probably thought it was funny.
I don't know. I don't know if Arrietty was doing that because she thought it was funny. I think, personally, at this point, I'm assuming Arrietty did that to hurt her feelings, unfortunately.
I've just noticed Arrietty doesn't seem to have a great sense of her jokes and how they're going to land. So I was, again, giving benefit of the doubt, but maybe she was just being mean.
Right. Well, moving on past that. So Ru comes in and they get right into the challenge. And once they learn what the acting challenge is, we get right into them choosing the roles.
Yeah.
Like
we're just speeding right along.
Now, typically in this season, role choosing has been a slightly dramatic undertaking.
Especially recently. With Roast Order Gate.
But honestly, this goes quickly. The girls kind of right away say, I like this part, I like this part. Now, the only even conversation of people having the same role is, once again, Suzie. She's vying for that top spot of Chicago. And then Jules is now also being like, well, but I've memorized this monologue since I was a small child. Yeah. And I need a redemption or a redemption, so I should get the parts.
Immediately when she said that, I was like, okay, so, every week I give Suzie a little bit of a hard time about talking a big game that maybe she can't back up. This week, I really think Suzie would have been the right choice for Chicago because I think Jules, knowing the monologue that this was based on, really screwed her up because there were a lot of changes in the dialogue. Yeah,
definitely. I understand why Jules would want to go for the big part. It is the way to get seen by the judges the most. It is a way to prove yourself the most. But yeah, unfortunately, between Jules already having a deep knowledge of the original monologue, it definitely messed her up during the recording. And we'll get there. So they quickly decide, though, that, well, the group actually kind of decides that, once again, Suzie, you're not going to get the top role. You're not going to get the monologue. And Jules gets it. And so Suzie is like, okay, I'll be Felicity.
Suzie made an interesting argument for why she should deserve the role that was slightly different than usual. And it was specifically about Jules and about the Wiz Rusical. And she said, okay, so last time you got your choice, you got your first choice, and you were in the top. Wouldn't it be fair to give me the same shot? I thought that was an interesting argument, but it didn't end up panning out that way.
Not for Suzie. Not today.
Not for Suzie, too.
So our very, very first group filming was Lana, who was playing Drippy Q. And Onya, who was playing Big Fupa.
Big Fupa, which was a very funny name.
Very funny. Very, very funny. We have then the second group was Sam Starr, who is playing
Shonda Cox.
Shonda. We have Lydia, who is playing the proctologist.
Dr. Scaddington.
Yes, Dr. Scaddington.
I believe Sniffy Scaddington?
Yeah,
I
that
think.
sounds right.
I think.
Yeah, I think you're right, Sniffy.
I should have taken better notes about that.
No, I think you're totally right.
Yeah.
Sniffy Scaddington. Then we have Suzie, Toot, and Lexi. Oh, yeah, that was an interesting pair.
That was a good one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you think... Okay, you think the pairing was good or they did good?
I thought they did great together. Okay. I loved them together. I loved immediately upon knowing that Lexi and Suzie were going to be together. I'm like, this is great. I love this.
Okay.
Because I just thought it was going to be a great opportunity for Lexi to do what she said she was going to do last week, not let her inner saboteur. And
yeah, this was the opportunity for her to overcome that.
Overcome her inner saboteur. Yeah. And literally, what better way to do it than working with the person she's most sabotaging herself in the name of.
That's true. That's true. So Suzie is playing Felicity. Lexi is playing Liza Rimmer. And then, of course, we have Jewel Sparkles playing Chicago. Now, overall, this was a great acting challenge. We've officially made it to the point in the competition where, honestly, everybody's pretty strong.
Yeah.
And everybody does pretty well overall. Now, we do have some kind of classic getting in our own way, getting in our head situations. The first group to film is Lana and Onya.
Yeah.
Now, Lana, overall... she's pretty solid.
Yeah, I felt like she did well.
She did well. They did have to give her some direction to just kind of like mix it up, change up how she was saying certain phrases.
She did say this. It was 3 lines, and it was about how you say them, and she said them all the same. And they're like, "Come on, you need to change it up."
Right, but doing fine or doing like okay is just no longer a direct pass to safe.
No.
Because when your scene partner is Anya Nurve, and she comes in this big fupa and literally comes in, like they said, like a wrecking ball, just a powerhouse.
Oh, absolutely.
It was just going to be really hard for Lana to be able to shine in the scene.
And see, a lot of people are saying that, and I actually disagree. I really do feel like how well Anya did made Lana better. I actually feel like Lana was doing okay, and then Anya got there, and Lana did better.
Yeah, Lana did better feeding off of Anya's energy, but I don't think Lana could have carried that scene.
Oh, absolutely not.
By herself. And I don't think if they switched parts, I think Lana wouldn't have been able to carry Big Fupa's role.
Absolutely not. But I just think I don't feel like Anya carried that scene by herself quite as much as people are saying. I really do think Lana did quite well. And when Anya showed there, I feel like she did even a little better than she was doing. Now, no, she could not. Roles reversed. Absolutely not, like you were saying. The other thing I wish Lana had done, because Anya had this really good suggestion for her when they were preparing.
Yeah.
Because one of her first lines is Ross as Truman is like asking her about Big Fupa.
Yeah.
And she has to say, I don't know her. And then the last time she's like, but she's your daughter. And she has to like say it in a comical way. And Anya said it would be funny if at that moment you got real serious and went, I said I don't know her.
Yeah, that would have been funny.
She should have done that.
Yeah.
That would have been hilarious, because also that would have been like the last line before Anya came in.
Yeah.
It would have been a great way for people to remember Lana doing well on her own before Anya came in.
Yeah.
But as a team, I think they did better as a team.
Yeah. Overall, it was a really fun way to kick it off.
Absolutely.
They had a really good fight scene that was very funny. And I think starting off anything with Anya is a good idea just for a production value, because it immediately makes the other girls have to like step it up.
Yeah, it really does.
They have to now go after her and match that energy. So speaking of going after Anya, so the next group was Sam Starr and Lydia.
Yes.
And Sam Starr kicks off the scene. And overall, once again, Sam is so consistent. She's funny. She's very secure in what she's doing. and she really doesn't need any direction from Cheyenne, who's directing it, or Ross, because it was kind of becoming like a group effort. Cheyenne was giving them good direction, but then Ross was also trying to pull more out of the girls when necessary.
Which was good, because also, while Cheyenne was the director, it was clear that this was, like, again, Ross's pet project. So Ross really, like, the director knows, but Ross really knows what he wanted.
Yes, yeah, which was great. And Sam came in. She knew exactly how to deliver this character. Honestly, no notes.
No notes. Like, there was no notes from Ross or Cheyenne.
Yeah, so. Literally. They were like, okay, this is great.
Yeah, you did great.
Now, her scene partner, however, Lydia,
Butthole Kollins.
You know, I don't... I'm like of two minds right now with Lydia. Because, on one hand, I actually did expect Lydia to do much better.
I did, too.
We just saw her on the roast. She had a surprise win, surprise success in the roast. And it showed that she could put out her humor there.
Yeah.
I think what we're seeing is, like, when Lydia can do Lydia, she's doing well. But as soon as they tell her to do another character, it's like she's not able to translate, because we had an acting challenge at the beginning of the season. Yeah. And she had to essentially play... She was playing like an old lady, like essentially the Sophia, like Golden Girls character. Yeah. And honestly, I'm like, oh no, Sophia's back. She just, there's something about like the delivery of her character. She's just not committing all the way. And when it's kind of a little bit what Lana was running into with Onya. When your scene partner is so strong and so high energy, unless you're right there with them, it's just not going to be a good look for you. Yeah.
And like you were saying, Lydia's good at playing Lydia, which is why she won last week. She found a way to make Lydia funny.
Exactly.
But Lydia could not make Dr. Scaddington funny.
Right.
Like you were saying.
Which is crazy, because low-key, I'm like, was this role written for Lydia? I mean, even she said, like, I want to take this role for obvious reasons.
Yeah. And then everyone went, ew. And she's like, and she started laughing. Lydia is just, like... I know she says it over and over, and I hate that I have to agree, but her problem is she's too sleepy.
Yeah, there we go. Maybe she's tired.
Girl is too sleepy. She needs some caffeine to perk up, because as Lydia that works, but as other roles it does not.
Right. So then our last group that enters the acting challenge is Suzie Toot and Lexi Love. Suzie Toot is the first to enter, and she delivers, like, her first line, and then she gets a compliment from Cheyenne, which is, ooh, we have an actor. Yeah. And, of course, Lexi falls right into, they complimented Suzie. Oh, my gosh. This is, like, she says something like, this is, like, a nail in my... I want to shove my nail in my ear.
I think she said, like, I want to shove a toothpick in my ear or something.
Yeah.
But it just... She was doing so good. She and Suzie were getting along. I was really hoping that wouldn't happen. And then, of course, she had to get right back in her head about Suzie, too.
Right. Exactly. And she did struggle during the actual recording. Yeah. We saw that she had to take the lines multiple times.
She said more than anybody else.
More than anybody else. But I will say that when it came down to the cut, finished product, Lexi clearly was able to deliver.
Oh my God, she was so funny.
I thought, honestly, when we were looking at the cut product, not to just completely, like, skip ahead, I ultimately liked her a little bit better than Suzie in the role.
Oh, me too.
Now, Suzie, of course... She was there. She was ready. They even said to Suzie, no notes for you. You're doing amazing. Now, the wig, though. The wig got clocked.
Yeah.
Thank goodness the wig got clocked.
She did great at acting, but the moment she came out, because she made her head all muddy in order to try to match the lace front that was not made for your skin tone.
Right.
Not made for your skin tone. Don't try to match it. You got all... She was just muddy.
Yeah, the makeup was really distracting for me personally. the wig line was very harsh. Yeah, I'm like, I get it. You got to borrow a wig from a girl sometimes, but like, girl, you couldn't have even just flipped the lace under. Like, make that wig a hard front just for this challenge. Just flip it under just for this challenge.
She was really sure she could blend that properly.
I know.
And she was really wrong.
It was so crazy. And so I don't know. So Lexi was getting distracted by Suzie's acting, but maybe Lexi should have just been like, girl, it's okay because this lace. Maybe that she should have focused on that.
And Susie's over there. And she even said in a piece to camera, she's like, yeah, keep messing up. It makes me look better. Does it?
I don't know.
Lexi, you need to remember how funny it is when you mess up. Remember your Gilbert Gottfried, and that worked. Wasn't the best, but it worked. But we've seen it. You're funny when you lose it like that.
Oh, yes.
And it worked for this.
Wow.
It ultimately worked for this.
Giving Lexi some coaching, directing.
I like Lexi a lot, and I want her to stop messing herself up.
Oh.
So, Lexi, you're amazing. Don't mess yourself up like that.
Oh, my goodness. Pointing right at the camera. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, at this point, is Lexi going to get out of her own way? Is this going to just continue being a thing? I hope not. It worked out. It ultimately ended up working out for her because the edited version was good, but we keep seeing this. And this was that's actually kind of something that I brought up during the live is I was hoping to get some surprises today in terms of people either overcoming stuff or whatever, but overall, everybody was kind of delivering exactly how they've been delivering through the course of the season.
We made various predictions on the live, and they all came true. Because as entertaining as this episode was, you could see what was happening.
Right. Now, of course, we can't forget Jules. She finally was able to deliver her monologue. She got a whole yawning sequence because she said she had to wait for 4 hours while everybody was trying to get their acting.
Which, well, while she was waiting, she could have been looking at that script a few more times.
I know. I was actually a little surprised. I wonder if that was a choice of I don't need to look at my script. I'm fine.
Or do they not
let them look at their scripts?
Because I was wondering that too. It's even if you don't feel like you need to prepare, if you're gonna potentially sit there for hours, bring someone to read.
Yeah, so I was a little surprised about that. Once again, I don't know if that's a rule or something, but it didn't help her to just sit and yawn because she did ultimately have a difficult time just fully committing to the part and honestly fully selling the part. To me, when she was delivering the lines, overall, it felt a little directionless, actually. For such a big monologue that should have a specific point, it almost felt like she was all over the place when she was trying to deliver
She actually even said that she was. She said she was trying to pull energy from a bunch of different places, which already should be a red flag that she needs to focus and try to just do one.
Yeah.
But also she said that she knows this monologue extremely well and has for a long time. Or the monologue that it's based on, not this monologue. And clearly, while we were watching them rehearsing, that messed her up because she kept adding words from the original monologue that weren't actually in this new one. And then it just felt like she had a lot of... I just felt like she didn't know where to put emphasis. She kept saying stuff and not putting emphasis on it. And I'm like, that's the end of the sentence, not the middle.
Yeah, no, that's real.
Yeah.
Yeah, in general, Jules just wasn't able to deliver this monologue in the way that I think she had built up in her head.
Yeah.
So once we watch them film the acting challenge, this episode flows really quick into the runway. We get a little workroom banter while they're getting ready.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it results in the girls trying to deliver some sort of freestyle rap. Because Lana mentions, when she was a kid, she won, a rap competition.
At school, yeah.
At school. But surprisingly, the girl that delivered the freestyle rap the best was Sam.
Yeah.
Was, the white woman from Texas.
Yeah.
Or Alabama.
For Alabama.
Yeah.
Yeah, not bad at all. I remember, since we're talking about them preparing for the runway, one thing that came up a bunch on the live last night, and I was I'm glad, because I was wondering if it was just me not paying attention, but they literally didn't mention what the runway was until right before it. Like,
I know.
we were all just being like, why is Suzie still applying
Yes!
white makeup
We're like,
so much?
I'm like, every time I look over, people have lip liner on her, eyeshadow on, and she's just still beating that face with white powder.
So much. And then,
I'm like, oh no, not Marie Antoinette again.
yeah. But we didn't know what the category was because they, like, literally didn't tell us.
Yeah, yes. So we finally get to the runway, and the category is black and white.
Yeah,
it makes a
black
lot
and
more
white
sense.
ball.
But RuPaul is there in orange latex. She, okay. I've been loving Ru's looks this season.
Yeah.
This one, though, because, she's been feeling the sexy oat. She's been showing panties lately. This one, she came out, though, and I'm like, why did they replace RuPaul's arms and legs with, like, metal? Like, the latex was so tight that I felt like she was walking like a robot.
I kind of liked the robot.
The robot.
I kind of liked the whole robot of it all.
Yes. So Ru looked great, but as soon as she came out, I'm like, is she okay? Like, should she move down this runway?
I liked it. It was funny. It was clearly a choice. It was funny.
It was.
It was a great outfit.
I don't know if it was a choice of her walking like that, but it was a choice to wear the tight pants and the tight outfit like that.
Okay, then I guess that's what the choice was, to wear pants that are going to force you to walk like that.
Right, exactly. Now, the black and white runway happens, and honestly, this is a really lovely runway. A lot of good looks.
Like
runway.
we were saying earlier, like Lexi was saying in Untucked this week, we're to the point where nobody's bad.
Seriously.
Like, we're at the point where everybody's good. So now people who are going to have really good stuff are going to get cut.
Yeah.
And of course, people are going to get in their feelings about it. That's what this show is.
Yeah, exactly. It wouldn't be Drag Race if we weren't seeing the emotions.
Yeah.
Fueling all of the choices and all of the things. So, overall, so there's only 7 girls left, so I thought we could, mention everybody's look. So the very first girl out is Sam Starr, and she is giving you gorgeous black and white jester, like a gown version of a jester. What did you think about Sam's look?
I liked it. I thought it was interesting. Maybe not the most original thing, but I thought she did it very well. Mm-hmm. I loved the makeup that she did and the bejeweling of the face. I felt like that really helped it stand out.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on all of that. It was very pretty. It's the level of drag and the level of polish and rhinestoning and the fit, everything. Like, it was a really fun look, and she did it really well. I loved the makeup. Yeah. Overall, I thought it was a cute look. Yeah. Didn't reinvent any sort of wheel for me.
Not at all, but still good.
Yeah, very, very clean. Next out was Lana Gervais, and Lana, she's giving you, once again, like a very fashion-forward focused look. She had black and white leggings on with a white flowy moment with a black bow. And then she is one of the 2 girls giving you panty again this week. Yeah. Yes. I mean, I will say,
this is the season of the panty.
This is the season of the panty. I wasn't aware that showing your panties while you're wearing a dress is very fashion forward, apparently. But between her and Lexi's look, which we will get to, if you're wearing a short dress, I guess you're supposed to show your panties.
I guess so.
Now, overall, I thought this look was really pretty. Did it stand out to me as much as some of the looks? Maybe not. No. But I actually think in terms of the simple, more elegant looks that Lana's kind of known for, this is one of my more favorite ones that she's worn on this season. Yeah. Yeah, what did you think about this?
It was a really nice look. Lana has mentioned before, and she mentioned this time around, she's all about her legs. Mm-hmm. So she made sure to really show off her legs, which is a great choice. Yeah. They're great legs. She has great legs. I still, as I often do with Lana's outfits, I felt like it was missing something. I just felt like there was one more thing, maybe even just a hat.
Ooh, I can see that.
I think maybe a hat with another bow could have put this over.
I actually would love this outfit with a hat.
Yeah.
All right.
I just felt like it was missing something.
Yeah.
It was good, but it felt incomplete.
Next up, speaking of hats, we have Onya Nurve, and she's giving you Bjork Swan fantasy realness. She had this really cool swan headpiece that looks like a swan was like laying on her head.
Yeah, it was very cool.
Yeah, very, very cool.
Wrapped around.
And then the dress itself was giving you like kind of black, swirly fantasy.
Yeah. And then it had the what was supposed to be, I think she said, kind of like smoke over the water in that gray frill that's coming up.
That's right. Yeah, it was really pretty. Overall, I thought this look was
gorgeous,
fun. It was elegant. Yeah, super beautiful. I loved that. Definitely the swan headpiece took the look all the way for me. I definitely think without the gag of the swan headpiece, it would be falling a little bit into like my critique of Lana, of it just being kind of not simple, but just, I mean, I guess for drag, honestly, and what we expect out of Drag Race, it could have been on the verge of a little simple, but for me, that swan headpiece really like helped cement it as like, oh, this is like a drag, like over the top look.
Definitely completed the piece.
Definitely.
Made it an outfit rather than just a dress and a hat.
Next up, we have Lydia Butthole Kollins. And Lydia, honestly, when we start talking about people giving you same silhouettes and similar outfits, while I really liked Lydia's look, and I thought like the combination of the furs was really cool.
Yeah.
This is almost exactly the same silhouette that we just saw her try to make in one of the most recent design challenges. When she was making that slinky dress that was kind of falling off of her, the pink, and she made that like whatever that's called with the furs and the like the stole thing. I was like, oh,
it's basic.
That's the same dress as this dress. So I don't know, it just didn't. This didn't wow. While I liked it, I was honestly like, oh, we've seen this before out of Lydia.
I really liked it. I love when this occasionally happens, when when somebody makes me think of something and then they say it too. Because she came out and immediately on the live I said she reminded me of the woman from Mars Attacks. The alien woman from Mars Attacks. And then she said the exact same thing.
There you go. She sure did. Yeah, you clocked that reference.
I was like, yes, I nailed that one. I actually really liked the dress, but yeah, it wasn't going to change the game.
Yeah. Now, next up, speaking of, well, she wasn't wearing fur, but she was giving you furry creature, which was Suzie Toot, who came out, honestly, she surprised me a bit. Like we mentioned, she was just beating that white face, like powdering. And I'm like, oh God, is this going to be Marie Antoinette? Is this going to be, I can't even imagine.
We didn't know the category
We didn't know the category at the time. And she ultimately came out giving you like this fringe cat, almost like slightly like Egyptian looking, but like fringe cat fantasy. What did you think about Suzie's fringe cat fantasy?
It was interesting. I wasn't a huge fan. It just, I don't know. It just didn't do anything for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I actually like this look for Suzie. I think it was funny. I can't remember if it was Sam Smith or Cheyenne that said it needed to be cinched in a little bit more to create a little bit more of a shape. I can definitely see that part, but I will say I think I was pleasantly surprised when she first came out. The makeup actually looked pretty overall. Yeah. I didn't have a big problem with her makeup on the runway. I thought the overall idea of the costume was pretty fun, and honestly, compared to what she's been wearing on some of these runways, this was definitely one of my more favorite Suzie looks of this season for sure. Then we have Miss Lexi Love. She was giving you that similar silhouette, but in a beautiful black and white ombre. Yeah. Personally, I really liked this look on Lexi. I thought she looked really pretty. She styled it in a fun way. They mentioned like how that hair, it could have been like old lady, but it ended up like really working for her. Completely agree with that.
Yeah.
She was also very much showing you panty, but at least hers were bedazzled. It seemed very intentional. Like, oh, my panty is supposed to be out. But I will say they keep clocking her for the train and this same silhouette that she keeps doing. And she kept doing it again tonight. I think this is like her last time doing that silhouette.
Yes.
They called it out. And I really hope next week she can show something a little different on the runway.
Absolutely. Because, like, the moment we saw it, we're like, well, even though it's great, they're going to clock her on that. I'm glad it didn't take her down further than it needed to.
Right.
Because I thought the look was still fantastic. But I was like, literally, Lexi, it's not even just that they've clocked you about this already. Last week, if you remember what T.S. Madison said, wait, last time I was here, didn't you have something dragging behind you? And then they showed that it was every week.
It's, almost.
I was like, she got a big time call out on that. So I think Lexi got really lucky.
Yeah.
That this didn't put her further down. The look was so good, though.
It was. It was really, really beautiful.
The old lady hair was a choice, but I gotta agree that it worked.
Yeah, she's very good. I feel like at styling things. So even if like maybe the piece that she's wearing could be, I don't know, just like a little like, man, like I don't know about this, she can style it and model it in such a way where it's like, oh, that's fabulous.
Yeah.
Now, I gotta just say it right out the gate. My favorite look of the evening was on Jules.
Was pretty great.
Oh my god. So she was the last one to come out. And this look, in my opinion, it just kind of shut everything else down. I loved that. It was also giving like, let's save the best look for last. Because when she came out in this beautiful, illustrated looking, head to toe look, she had the hat, she had the cinch.
Yeah.
Every little note that they gave every other girl for their outfit, she came out and said, this is how it's supposed to be. Jules looked amazing.
She did. I love when they can pull off outfits that look like they were drawn on, and her outfit totally she looked like a paper doll.
She did,
but like in the best way.
It was so beautiful. So beautiful. Now, did you have a favorite runway look?
You know what? I just really love Lexi's. Maybe I'm just too tilted towards her, but I thought her look was fantastic, even with the stuff they told her not to do anymore. Yeah. I thought it still was fantastic.
Yeah, I love that. Ooh, I love that. Do you have a least favorite runway look?
You'll be mad, Suzie Toot.
No, I mean, I'm not mad. You said that you didn't really like the outfit, so that makes sense.
It didn't do anything for me.
That's fair. I'm going to go with Lydia for my least favorite runway look. Now, for me, I think Lexi was giving something we expected, but it still looked very just beautiful and fresh. When Lydia came out, I'm like, that's the same dress that she's been wearing.
Yeah.
So that was my least favorite runway. We get to see the final finished product on stage, and it was so fun. It was a very funny acting sketch.
Yes.
I think sometimes the acting sketches, even with like the writing, it can just be so boring or cringy or whatever. But they did a really good job overall of giving them a funny script and then the girls actually delivering it.
Yeah.
I thought deliberations could potentially be difficult because there were definitely, the highs were highs and standouts. But then I felt like we did have a good chunk of girls that were kind of like, what's going to happen? Are they going to be low? Are they going to be safe? So the tops of the week were Onya and Sam Starr. And Onya ultimately got, is it her third win?
Yeah.
Wow, congratulations. She got another $5,000. And for me, there was no other option for winner. Like, Onya killed this challenge.
She did. She did a really great job.
Yes. Now, our safe girls were Suzie and Lexi. And I think that was very fitting considering just like the size of the roles and overall what they did with them. Lexi, while she really struggled in that moment to film it all, I really enjoyed her in the challenge.
Yeah.
And I thought her and Suzie ultimately did work really well as a team in their section.
I agree.
I wasn't surprised with the safe placement for either one of them.
Their ASMR bit that they did.
Oh, that was so funny.
It was so funny even when we were watching it. The mics are just there, which is obviously way funnier.
Yeah, it was just very funny.
I thought that was very funny, so it was very fitting that they were both safe and that they were both told that they were safe.
Yeah, oh yeah, that was really cute.
They were told that they were safe.
And I like too, was it like Lexi that was like, oh wait, I didn't realize she was doing a bit. Like,
yeah,
Lexi was doing a bit.
It took Lexi a minute to realize that they were doing a bit about their ASMR.
It's very funny.
Which was very funny.
It was really cute. And then that means the bottoms of the week were Lana, Lydia, and Jules. Yes. Now, before we find out who's safe and all of that, though, Ru does ask the girls the age-old Drag Race question of who should go home this week and why.
Yeah.
So that was pretty fun. You've watched other seasons.
Yeah.
So you've seen the girls have to answer this question before.
Yeah, I've seen them have to answer this question plenty of times before, and it generally goes the way that it went. There's one person that most people are going to say.
Yeah.
And that's how it went.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, were you surprised that most people said Suzie?
No.
I was
not. I was not for many reasons. I was not for Lexi's reason of, I feel like she's my main competition. I want to get her out here, even if Suzie doesn't feel that way. Though Suzie did seem to revel a few times in Lexi's feelings towards her. That's
true. Yeah, so the girls that were said the most of who people thought they should go home was definitely Suzie. She had the most going home comments, and then a couple people mentioned Lana for track record.
Yeah,
and then I forget who, maybe Lydia, but she said Onya to go home. I'm pretty sure somebody mentioned Onya, and I'm like, well, that ain't happening. The bottoms of the week, of course, ended up being Lydia, Lana, and Jules.
Yeah.
Now, Jules ultimately was called to be safe.
Yeah.
Which I'm happy about. I think just track record-wise, and they even pointed out, this was each Lydia and Lana's, third time in the bottom?
Yeah.
So it made sense that Jules was safe. I do think, though, Jules is a bit lucky to be called safe.
Yeah.
I really hope that kind of like Lexi keeps getting in her own head. It seems like all of a sudden now, last episode and this episode, Jules has kind of been getting in her own way. So
yeah, I
hope she can overcome that, because I personally really love Jules.
I do too.
And I still could see Jules as like a top 4 person, potentially.
I could see that. I could agree with that.
Yeah.
This was like what we were saying earlier. Even on the live, the writing was on the wall the whole time.
It was.
We always knew it was going to be Lana and Lydia. We were pretty sure it was going to be Lydia going home, because Lana, while they've both been in the bottom 3 times, Lana has gained a reputation, apparently, as being...
Yeah.
Not necessarily a lip sync assassin, but as far as a multi-bottom girl... she has gained a reputation of, okay, she's going to send you home.
That's true. That's very true. So, yeah, and I mean, I think they even called that out. Sam called that out in Untucked.
Yeah.
Basically saying, okay, so we know it's going to be Lana and Lydia in the bottom.
So we know Lydia's going home.
Lydia's going home, right. And they get to lip sync to Sam Smith's song, Unholy, which I'm like, once again, comes through a budget, a newer song.
Because we were even discussing, we're like, are they going to do a Sam Smith song? Is it going to be Unholy, or can they not afford Unholy?
I know.
And then it was Unholy.
It was Unholy. I thought that was very, very fun.
Yeah.
And, okay, we have to talk about, though, this lip sync. Because, yes, Lydia does end up going home. But when they first start out this lip sync, and Lydia's kind of doing her weird little movements and stuff like that, I'm like, oh, is Lydia going to outshine Lana?
Yeah, is Lydia going to show us some stuff we didn't know she could do? If we didn't know that she could cut a dress, then I guess so. But she just broke out some scissors and started cutting her dress.
Yeah, and not very well. So maybe the surprise is that she can't cut a dress.
I guess not, because also everybody was like, oh, she's cutting her dress. Maybe something really cool is about to happen. And then she got stuck.
Yeah, it was...
and she got stuck in the dress.
Yeah, it was one of those kind of cringy, hard-to-watch moments.
Yeah.
Where all of a sudden she has to sit down on the stage and like try to pop her leg out of the hole, and then the other leg is stuck.
And the whole time Lana's doing splits and running around and being the multi-bottom lip sync killer.
Yeah, exactly. So while Lydia tried her best, the gaggerini of the scissors did not work out.
Did not play out for her.
And ultimately sent Lydia home.
Yeah.
So we had to say goodbye to the butthole.
We had to say goodbye to the butthole, but she's going to go hang out with Kori.
Yeah.
And that's great. I'm happy for them.
Yeah, exactly. She's got her boo. We know that they're doing well. They're putting videos out. They're doing all sorts of stuff. So, yeah.
There was this great video I saw of them doing Suzie Toot's makeup on each other. That was very... or on themselves, but also a little on each other.
That was
funny. Very funny.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
So next week, we are getting some sort of goofy talent show as some sort of variety show, possibly.
Yeah.
Basically, it's just called Charisma, Uniqueness, Nerve, and Talent. And I remember from the preview that the girls looked very... Oh, you just figured out what that spells. The girls looked very silly. So I don't know if it's like a comedy thing or another acting or whatever it is. But next week's challenge... It looks interesting.
Yeah.
Before we can get to at the end of the day or close up the episode, Jordan, we can't forget we need to do our sip of the weeks and our spit of the weeks.
Yes.
So, Jordan, who's your sip of the week this week?
My sip of the week this week is Lexi. I just love Lexi.
Ooh,
I just love her so much. I think everything she makes is beautiful. She cracks me up even when she's flubbing it. Sometimes especially when she's flubbing it. And I really just think she's amazing. I still honestly feel like Onya is probably going to win this season. Mm-hmm. I don't know that. But I feel like Lexi is going to be at least top 4.
Okay. I love that.
Yeah.
My sip of the week is, well, the winner of the challenge, Onya. Between her runway and how well she did in the acting challenge. For me, top placement. I was so glad to see her get another win. Total sip of the week.
Beautiful.
Jordan, who's your spit of the week?
My spit of the week... I keep doing it, and I'm so sorry, but it's Suzie Toot.
I knew you were going to say it.
It's Suzie Toot.
I knew you were going to say it.
I feel so bad. I'm not trying to pick on Suzie Toot.
Okay.
I'm not trying to pick on Suzie Toot. The makeup in the acting challenge was horrendous, and I just felt like the outfit was nothing.
Okay.
Personally.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I know you liked it. I'm sorry. I just felt like it was nothing.
You don't need to apologize. No. Hey, I respect your opinion. I'm not trying to convince you of anything otherwise.
Yeah.
My spit of the week, I'm going with who won and who lost this week because it was very clear cut to me. So my spit of the week was Lydia, between her being timid in the acting challenge, giving us the same dress that we keep seeing on the runway, and then the very kind of like cringy scissor cutting lip sync moments. It was just not giving this week for me. So I'm so sorry, but Lydia is going to be my spit of the week.
I really wish that cutting the dress thing had gone somewhere.
Yeah, but it didn't.
It didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't. Instead, she just ruined a dress that I kind of liked.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's real. All right. So, Jordan, it's that time now for At the End of the Day.
At the end of the day.
We're going to sum up a final thought about this week's episode. I think you went first last time, so I'm going to give my At the End of the Day. At the end of the day, if you're in a challenge with Onya, specifically an acting challenge, then you better bring everything you have in your arsenal. If they're going to team you up in any sort of team challenge, actually, like, you better be there to outshine your partner. That's essentially what it's coming down to at this stage of the game. Ooh,
at the end of the day, I really needed Suzie to stop reveling in Lexi's spirals. Like,
that got to you a little bit.
It bothered me because, like, what's so funny about it? Like, I get that maybe Suzie was also, you know, maybe seeing. I get that maybe after weeks of Suzie being Lexi's target for seemingly no reason, that it would seem fair, but Lexi never hurt Suzie. Lexi only hurt herself in that.
That's right.
And I just think it seemed so much more mature at the beginning when it seemed like they were both going to squash that because they were working well together.
Yeah.
And their scene was funny together.
It was.
So I didn't love that Suzie was taking so much pleasure in Lexi's misery.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Jordan, thank you so much for joining me again today on another Scarlett Cyanide's Sit and Sip.
Well, thank you for having me again.
Yes. And of course, we'll be back next week, every Monday, to bring you a brand new Sit and Sip. Don't forget to support the channel by liking and subscribing to the video. And take care of yourself, divas. We'll see you next time.
Bye.